Since everybody's been talking about travel, okay, I'll start with the travel. Um, so I think when you travel, people tell you things that they probably shouldn't tell you because they don't think they're ever going to see you again. And that's mostly true. They're not going to see you again. So, so I did a lot of outtakes. You know, there was the official article we were doing, and then there were outtakes of people that maybe you interviewed or you talked to later or whatever. So this is one of those outtakes when I spoke to a guide. Mad with fear. She stands alone atop a bleached white fortress overlooking the turquoise Adriatic. The dry Buddha wind brushes the heat of spring's sun over her skin, a wind only nature could invent and usually saves for winter. Franica moved to Dubrovnik's old city, protected by tall, thick limestone walls. Not for a moment did we think they would bomb the old town. Not Napoleon, not Hitler did such a thing. Even when the bombs fell in the shelling hours, we slept sometimes for 16 hours a day. I have never slept so many hours, so much of my life just spent sleeping. Sometimes when we woke, we could not hear, we could not speak. Her pale, wide-spaced eyes sag at the outer corners, and I wonder if they looked that way before the war, before the shelling, before the long sleeps, before sharing 5 liters of water each day among so many who needed to drink and bathe. At night, we tied our wrists one to another so we could not be lost. Her head lifts, her eyes lock on mine as if for the first time. And we laughed for no reason, mad with fear. So that was Franica. This is a little more upbeat. Poor Franica. You know, I mark the pages and I stick the stuff on and they fall off. So I don't have anything as entertaining as John Strauss relating to Italy, but John Strauss is like unusual, so he is unusual in a good way, Love struck. I jogged to the Borghese Gardens, past the zoo's furless creatures, bound up the steps to Cardinal Scipione's Galleria, catch a glimpse of the Bernini sculptures, assuming their positions on pedestals in time to gape at us studying them. They've returned breathless from a bacchanalian feast, careful not to stain their marble bodies with blood-rich wine. I imagine Apollo rushing Daphne, who will never be caught in her desire to stay pure and free. Like nosy neighbors, the sculptures follow the drama, throw their heads back, recall yesterday's spectators peering up Apollo's crotch, wrapped by Daphne's fingers, metamorphosed into laurel leaves that clutch the warmest part of his smooth marble body, staking her claim forever. Okay, so we also used to eat in nice places because people used to take us to them. So this is part of that too. Ladies who lunch at Le Bernardin prefer oysters no larger than 2 inches. Briny, muscular, manageable. The most popular are widow's holes, like a punchline to a dirty joke about the world's favorite aphrodisiac. Instead, it's named for a widow married to a lost-at-sea whaler who lived on the Peconic, where oysters are born, bred, cultivated to ladylike taste. If left alone, they can live for 15 years, grow to foot-long sea creatures. Almost inert, inanimate as a plant, oysters live sealed inside shells, filled with their own juice. Take one firm bite, or the creature will live on in your stomach, say the French. Puff your cheek with its liquor. Taste the salty air. A sweet creature. Slurp. Never chew. Tease it. Work it with your tongue. Never sink your teeth in. Goodness, no. Yet others say, if you swallow, all oysters are the same. So I feel compelled to read a couple of little Italian things, for John. Also, this is a little one. L'Americana, the American. The women's talk moves to women's talk. And your clothes, they can't be from America. Real Americans wear pink and blue and socks with sandals like Germans, say my Sicilian cousins. New York is not L'America, I tried to explain. The national color is black there, but not for mourning. I don't look like a real American because I remain a Mediterranean hybrid with the suspicious heart of a peasant on both sides of the Atlantic. Okay, I'm going to do one more Italiana. This was part of a dream. I listen. I see them in a heaven steaming with kitchen vapors. Zia Caduzza rolling her napkin into cigarillos, repeating her mantra, no man is good enough for any woman. She had a bad husband, I tell myself. Zia Raffaella presses vanilla pizzelli, while Cugina Elisabetta beats an octopus into submission. She cooks it pink, sprinkled with olive oil, lemon, oregano. I hear laughter among them. I am on the other side of the curtains, one of them sewed. It matches the tablecloths, the aprons made of remnants gathered from the same sweatshop floor. Forbidden to banter, I am invisible, but I see them. Through the drone of my mother's lunch report today, I heated up the salmon. My knees are talking to me all day, so I stayed in. Then I made myself a nice cup of coffee. I want to moan, I want to tune her out, and yet I hear Zia Caduzza's other mantra, you only get one mother. Mom says, I had a busy night last night. My room was full of visitors. It's the march of the unrestful dead. Husbands, sisters, cousins. She says, my mother reminded me of the things we used to make at Christmas. Stuffed olives, pickled zucchini, eggplant salad. You know how your grandmother was. I couldn't rest. I snapped to attention and scribbled down the recipes. You don't have to. If you don't like it, you don't have to. You don't have to clap. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward to some things that were in New Verse News. Illegal. This came from a little news article. We are somebody, and we are from somewhere. They camp at the airport, on the tarmac. The Libyans step on them, beat them, whipping dogs. They call them abd, slaves, darker than all the rest, lower than the Chinese, working in Libya for years. They're trapped. Tell someone, we are dying. Okay. So my mother's 100 years old, and so she gets to say a lot of things. And nobody ever argues with her anymore. But she was born in 1919, and so she really had her heart set on the presidential election turning out a little bit differently. So this is a lot from her. They don't remember when we were the immigrants, the sharecroppers, the unskilled laborers standing on corners waiting for work. Maybe it was the Hell's Gate Bridge or the dangerous bowels of the subways. Sharing low-lit tenements with men piled high, swapping pillows, sheets, and beds as they returned from the morning shift, the evening shift, the stench of those men-filled quarters. No women to dress for, to clean for, to shave for. A society of men clammy in winters, sultry in summers, saving meager wages split with padroni and landlords, before sending bits and pieces home to bring wives and children here to this foreign place, trying to remember why they left home. Was it that bad? Yes, it was. The wives don't tell the men in their letters of the famine, the deaths, a silk thread of hope spanning the Atlantic. to feel whole again, not so alone, to be human instead of imitating animals in the daily routine, wake, work, sleep, nothing in between, no rises or falls, or celebrations, or clean towels, or bread on the table, set for 4, 6, or set at all. Eating while standing becomes a skill on the corners, waiting for the work. If the policeman doesn't move them to another corner, stepping into strangers' cars, a dangerous deal for a day's work. Now the men speak with accents from Mexico, Guyana, India, but they're not so different from our grandfathers and uncles. Shifting from one foot to the other to keep warm, expecting a day's pay by nightfall, but who can tell? My mother recalls the stories of her father, brothers. She cannot understand the nephews and nieces who don't see their ancestors' faces before them. And I have a wonderful stepson he's multiracial, and but he's got an Italian name. Our date. My stepson spent the afternoon in detention for lying to a nun. I told them my name means pheasants in Italian, but no one believed me. Half white, half Puerto Rican, Italian last name, nappy hair, said otherwise. At the perfect age of 10, my stepson and I had a date one afternoon. Determined to teach him to fly, forget nuns, divorced parents, overprotective mother, or just ride a bike. A two-wheeler, banana seat, shiny chrome bells, streamers. He'd run alongside it, throw one leg far and wide in time to find the pedal on the other side. I clutched the back of the seat, sent him off as far as I could, like my father did for me, knowing spills and harm would follow. Years later, a knot in my heart, his dusty tear-smeared face, lips quivering, telling me of a quick ride to an Italian neighborhood in Pelham Bay, where he was chased down by taunts of, "You don't belong here." I tried to tell them my name, but no one listened. I think of all I don't know about courage, how to build it, pass it on, when to fight, to flee, and when to leave your bike behind, save your life, find your way home. So, I think anybody in this room like Anna Magnani?
Oh, yay.
Francesco!
Yes.
Okay.
We like her.
Okay. Okay, this is a story, actually. You know, people tell me stuff. I never understand why they tell me so much stuff, but they do. And this was from a gallery owner in Soho. And, okay, so it's called Impressions. Leonor Fini, 1907, 1996. Anna Magnani, 1908, 1973. The best of friends, they posed together, looking more alike each year. Vivacious, dark, controversial, women with pasts that followed them. When Anna Magnani died, Leonor Fini locked herself in the room with the corpse for 4 days. She studied her, knowing they were together for the last time on earth. She observed, drew her in repose. After all the men, Picasso, Ernst, Genet, her heart belonged to Magnani, whom she painted with no apologies. Fini lived with 23 cats. If one fell ill, she would fall ill, swirl in a pool of depression. Yet the stilled Magnani inspired her to do what she did best, sketch, paint, document Magnani for herself. Obsessed. Did she stray into Magnani's closet, slip into her clothes to hold her closer? Did she drink or did she eat? Was she dazzled by death? Did anyone dare disturb her? Did her cats gather at her feet? I picture her cross-legged, lotus position, sharing the bed with Anna during those days. Picture her running her finger along Magnani's profile, brushing clouds of black hair over the pillow, for the best effect, for the last goodbye, for the series of portraits. Nobody ever sees these portraits. They're always locked up and you have to ask for them, and I think two more. I don't want to tear down the. I don't want to bring down the mood too much, so I won't read too many dead poems. But I have one or two that I might. Okay. So my husband was a poet too, and a much more productive poet, actually. So I'll just read this. I'm not going to explain it. Still yours. You have to get rid of his clothes, my friend advises. She lost 2 sisters too young to die. She wants me to get over you, over it, move on to where she wants me to be. I don't just visit your clothes, I wear them. And what does not fit, I alter. A second skin, a way to walk and tucked inside your memory. I hook my fingers into the belt loops or slip them into the front pocket of your jeans I wear almost every day. I stand just so, mirror the you I know so well. Others notice I favor one hip, as you did. I run my fingers over the collared shirts, the nubby linens, silk ties splashed with colors like so many banners from all over the world. I picture my revolutionary, who so loved his Brooks Brothers shirts that reminded him of his early shopping sprees with Dad, who was so intent on molding him into his own image, capitalist, Republican. Silliest of all, I crumble at the sight of the sock drawer. Hundreds of white ones, long and short, these among the last items you touched and folded, just as you did my lingerie, yet you left no lingering scent behind. So many things I could not fix. I wanted to make life better, gave instead myself, whoever I may have been, at that moment in time, imperfectly yours. This is a piece. I wrote a review about the Leonard Cohen exhibit that was at the Jewish Museum, and I did that for the Jerusalem Post. And I realized that there were 3 installations I hadn't seen, so I went back. And it was just, I think, 1 day off from a year from when my husband died. So it was I think when you go through a trauma, I think that you sort of you're a little hyper vibratory. You pick up people's vibes, and they pick up you, and you can't help it. After Leonard Cohen, Jewish Museum, New York, April 11, 2019. She tells me we are all morose Suzannes. The pancake hat with the tiny rosebud slips off her halo of feathery black dyed hair. She turns to me in the black-walled gallery. Cohen's foghorn voice murmurs, "Love calls you by your name." She spots the single wing that hangs around my neck, a giveaway to my celestial leanings engraved with WWGS. What would Gilly say? It proves I have loved and lost. You are an angel who can be wary. She says you have lost something big, but I can tell you are not alone. Just as her dead brother travels with her, my lost mate does with me. He comes to her, she comes to me. We are all traveling side by side. You are standing here alone, but you are 2. I can feel 2 people. I admit she's right. I am never alone, will never be alone, for you moved in on that brilliant spring day. My body and soul made room, will always make room. It was just a year today when I was just a woman with a man at her side. Who is writing the verses I write now? Is it you, me? Where do you begin? Dancing as if no one is in the room. Waltz, now tap. If I could defy gravity, I'd climb the wall like Fred Astaire. I would be exuberant. For now, I'm happy to dance alone in the dark. Like ancient sirens without end, I will keep dancing, dancing if the whole world was watching, in this chamber of dreams where I will never be alone. Thank you.